In today's video, we will be discussing about poor relationships and marriages affected by cryptocurrency and Bitcoin investments. Would you allow your partner to spend their life savings on Bitcoin? That is not smart. But are you the type of person that would leave a relationship if your partner wouldn't let you spend any money or a reasonable sum on Bitcoin? Some relationships aren't doing so well. It's just like those girls or even potentially the guys who aren't into vehicles and the other person in the relationship likes to spend his money on Corvettes, BMWs, and Mercedes. Except those are liabilities, and in this case, this is an asset that is growing quite well. There's always risk in investments, and let's first talk healthy relationships. One of the main reasons relationships fall apart is communication or lack thereof. And when you have problems with communication, you may not share full details with the other partner. Some people think that their financial details should be private, and it's very sensitive information. So sensitive, in fact, that nobody should know outside of them, not even their family members or anybody that they trust, really. And that's not really a problem with cryptocurrency. That's a problem with your trust issues, with insecurities. And if you're not sharing full details with your partner, maybe it's time to think back. What can you change in that relationship? Maybe it's the other partner's fault. Maybe it's your fault. But somehow you got to make sure that communication gets fixed. That's the number one reason a lot of marriages fall apart. And why people keep flipping girlfriends and boyfriends, that's not normal. This wasn't happening like 50 years ago. Money is, of course, a pretty big issue. But here are a few stories today that we're going to be discussing about. One might be fake. We're not sure. We can't verify. But there are others that are very similar that are definitely real. You've heard about it in the news. You've heard about it online. And you might even know somebody like that in real life. Whether it comes to cryptocurrency or any investment that you make, first off, if it's your money, I understand you may not be comfortable sharing the full details. Stealth wealth is important, but if it's your life partner, and especially if you're sharing funds, there's a lot of different angles that we can look from. If it's not fully your money and you're spending the other person's money on cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter if it's great investment. You just broke their trust. You're stealing money that's not yours. And that's why me and my girlfriend, we have separate bank accounts. And even if we were to get married, my money's mine, her money's hers. I don't really need to share what I invest in, but I do tell my girlfriend because I constantly talk about cryptocurrency. I got her interested in cryptocurrency. She now owns Bitcoin herself. But if you're in a relationship where your partner is against cryptocurrency, no matter what, maybe it's time to educate them a little bit, have a nice little sit down. But if everything's okay with communication, if you're doing everything right on your part, then yes, it most definitely is the other person's fault. If despite everything you told them, as long as you're not investing in really high-risk altcoins or DeFi projects, if you're just buying Bitcoin and you're buying it at a good time and you already have an emergency fund and you're quite financially literate and it is fully 100% your money, then ultimately, yes, there will be some relationships that must need to be broken. So with that out of the way, let's discuss. All you have to do is go on Reddit on our Bitcoin, and 1 month ago my wife is leaving me because Bitcoin, she just left to go stay at her sister's. She's super mad that I didn't sell at 60,000 and looks at the price off and scolding me. I keep telling her we don't need the money and have the cash. We live nice. However, today she caught me buying the dip and was so pissed she almost hit me. Now she packed her bags and went to her sister's to stay. She said not to talk to her. This is where I need help. Where's a good place to pick up girls in my Lambo? So this could most definitely be a false story, and this is the one that I preluded to. It could be just, a post to troll around. He doesn't seem too concerned if it is indeed a real story. Bitcoin at its all-time high was $65,000 not too long ago, and then it went all the way down to $47,000, although we recovered and currently we're at $55,000, so woohoo, we're still hodling here together, but there are plenty of real case scenarios where, sure, they're good, sure, there's some bad. However, you should never, ever do this if you have to play around with your life savings, if you don't have an emergency fund, if you don't have a 401k retirement plan, if you don't have some money in stocks, if you don't have some money somewhere else, just somewhere, because if you put everything 100% sure, if you time the market correctly, you get lucky, and then you also get lucky when you decide to sell or when you need some money, withdraw a large enough amount that you're able to live off of that for the next few years if crypto winter comes and then the market returns back to an all-time high, and then you sell even higher. If you're Nostradamus, if you're a genius, everything's fine. But we have plenty stories like this. He bet his family's entire life savings and mortgaged his home for a shot at millions, and now he's living the dream. Dan Conway, a former middle management cog in Silicon Valley's firm wheel, placed a $300,000 bet on Ethereum, and it made him a very rich man. He was making $150,000 a year, and that's what a lot of people miss out on. A lot of folks who see the news and see, oh my God, this guy made millions with cryptocurrency. He placed it all on one bet. Even if this individual lost $300,000, he's still making $150,000 per year. However, remember our Dogecoin story not too long ago? Well, that individual, his portfolio went up. I've been following him even further on Reddit. He went up almost to $2 million, and then it dropped down to $500,000, and now he's inching towards $1 million back again. However, this individual firmly believes he wants to sell at $10 million. He has no emergency plan, nothing. He borrowed on margin. He doesn't have a job that's paying $150,000 a year. I believe he was a musician tech living in a very high cost of living area. This guy lives in a very high cost of living area, but he's doing pretty well for himself. And there's even worse case stories where people take out loans from their family, from the banks, they sell their house, and they're not able to do that because if you lose literally everything. Then you're going to be begging for money online. So this individual asked if he could invest $100,000 of the family savings into Bitcoin and Ethereum and cryptocurrency, and $100,000 was saved up for his 3 kids' college education. It was pretty risky. Now, he did come out on top ultimately, but there's also a fair amount of people who didn't, who actually lost everything. And it's not great. Remember that guy who lost over $900,000 not too long ago because of Wall Street bets? And he lost his family's business. I'm sure his family's super happy about that. But what's interesting about this story that I showed you, it's positive. Well, it's positive because it turned out well. When did he invest? In 2015. So it's now 2021, and people who are now taking it out again, you have to realize the environment is a lot different now than in 2015. In 2015, it wasn't like a few months away from the biggest pump, Bitcoin getting to $20,000 in late 2017. No, it was 2015 when a lot of people didn't even know about Bitcoin or Ethereum. And Ethereum in 2015 was a brand new project. This individual purchased almost 7,000 Ethereum at an average price of $14. And currently Ethereum's at $2,500, it hit an all-time high of over $2,600. This article was written in 2019 in November, almost December. So I'm pretty sure this individual is doing just fine for himself right now. He ended up doubling down, and he actually ended up with 26,750 Ethereum at an average cost of $11.21. So you have to look very, very closely because this guy's probably worth tens and tens of millions of dollars. But if he played his cards right in Silicon Valley with his job, he would be a millionaire regardless. Just his house alone would be worth well over $1 million. And a lot of people fail to realize that. This is one story out of 1,000 that turned out really well. And again, this guy was set up for success regardless. He knew about cryptocurrency early, and very early he invested into Ethereum because he's making $150,000 in Silicon Valley. He's probably a software programmer. Most software programmers or people who are in this space knew about it early. I found out about cryptocurrency in 2013, 14. I was interested in it at a young age. He himself isn't recommending other people to follow him. For every story like mine, there's hundreds of others of people who lost it all. Here's another story. CNBC, this family bet everything on Bitcoin when it was at $900 and bought more when it crashed in 2018. I remember this guy. He was traveling around in a van with his kids. And sure, he bet a lot of their stuff, but it's kind of weird when you have kids involved, because if it's just you, or even if it's your partner's crazy about cryptocurrency, great, but once it's your kids, it's like you kind of force them into that lifestyle. So this guy had a very profitable business and a 2,500 square foot house. They decided to trade all of that for cryptocurrency. I won't be surprised if Bitcoin hits $200,000 by 2022. Hey, you might be right. He added more in 2018. He was buying the dip, but in order to buy more, he probably was rich already. He traveled to 40 countries across 4 years. They don't have bank accounts, they don't have a house or any of that, but they have a lot of money in cryptocurrencies. Now, he started buying when Bitcoin dipped at about $3,000. So that's a still pretty good price. Now, you have to look all the way down and you have to realize that they were probably millionaires because he's given away half of his money away to charity, and it's a family of 5. Here they are, very happy. Another wonderful case scenario, but they were rich from the get-go, or at least wealthy, well-to-do, very well off. Recently, you had BBC News on the 9th of February. You had some people that were able to buy vacations. That's great. You have people that are putting it into their pension plans, except you have to realize founder of Gallium Ventures. So probably if she's living in California, I'm just going to take a guess, a gander here, she's probably already a millionaire. I have a 585% increase in Bitcoin. I put in £5 at the very beginning and I've built it slowly and steadily over time. So probably she's got a fair amount of money. Although now if it's £5, so maybe she lives in California, but probably not. Probably she was just traveling. We'll see. All right, I went to her LinkedIn and she's done work both in the UK and in San Francisco and California. She's been mentoring people at Google, at a whole bunch of different companies, and she's founded 2 of her own companies. So again, probably another case where she's doing really well for herself. Now, this guy is a founder of a cybersecurity firm, and he said he had a client who lost 84 Bitcoins. At the time, they were worth $475,000. The wallet contains $15 million of cryptocurrency, the fraudster's wallet, so somebody was able to get the client's access by a fraudulent link. So phishing. This guy bought himself a Bentley. That's fantastic. This guy was spending a lot of money, probably not making as much because he was a miner, so it's probably better to just... I'm all for miners. They're supporting the network, but it's probably better just to invest. This guy was smart. Bitcoin helped me buy a house. But then we have Medium posts like this. What can we learn from my husband's short-lived experience with Bitcoin investment? My husband decided to invest in Bitcoin just before its crash. Great. Now, this individual did tell his wife, and it wasn't that much money. It was actually around a few $1,000s. He's quite frustrated, but probably he's going in for the long run. It's not that bad, it's just a dip. But some things to learn from this experience. Don't invest more money than you're willing to lose. If you skip number 1, then the emotional pressure will throw you off your rocker. Keep your cool, watch and learn. Don't fall for hyper influencers. Do the research. Obviously, buy low, even if the dip is over. And if you yearn for cash stability, then forget about Bitcoin. And that's true. I mean, all of that's true. It's very volatile. It's still low risk compared to all of the other cryptocurrencies, but it's still got some volatility in it. That's why it's giving you these crazy rewards. And that's why some people don't really want to play around with it, or they only want to put in a few percent. And that's fine. Here we have another post. Dear Penny, I buy $500 per month of Bitcoin. My wife hates it. Should I care? This writer really detests Bitcoin. So let her be. Let the wife be very upset about that. But if both the partners agree to put in $500 per month into Bitcoin, dollar cost averaging is fantastic. The main issue, obviously, is communication. Now, there have been many more articles of people actually leaving their partners and going to psychotherapy and other stuff, couples therapy. Don't let Bitcoin break apart your marriage unless you want it to. If you really believe in Bitcoin, you know what? I encourage you to keep investing in it, but definitely work on your communication skills. That's it at the very end of the day. Trust your partner for a little bit, but ultimately, if you try and educate them, hey, it's your choice. We can most certainly learn quite a few things from these stories. And like I said, with the advice given at the very beginning, communication is very important in a relationship. Once you've already done all the necessary steps, though, to outline to your partner, ultimately, if it's your money fully, you get to do whatever you want with it. You will risk your money, and if you get a nice reward, that's 100% yours. But if you lose your money, that's also 100% your consequence. So financial independence is quite important, but also so is trust. So there's a good side, there's a bad side, there's 2 angles that you need to look from, but there's hundreds of different perspectives because that's just life. That's how it is. So thanks so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, thanks to all the new subscribers. If you still haven't subscribed yet and you would like to support the channel, we're approaching 1,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment down below your opinion I always enjoy reading your comments, and we shall see you guys tomorrow. How do you, by the way, like the 2 uploads per day thing? Is that too much? Is that okay? Because I see a lot of channels going 3, 4 videos a day. I'm not doing that. Not yet. definitely not this year, because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I think 2 is okay, so you don't have to watch everything. But some people may not enjoy NFT content. Some people may not care about Bitcoin. Some people may not care about altcoins. So it's going to be a little bit all over the place. Only click on a video if you enjoy that type of content. So that's that. See you guys. Have a great one. Bye.